All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. It is House Edge Live with John on Casino Gaming Central. My door is open this morning. I can tell like that. I get this weird echo in here when the door's open. Anyway, hopefully things go well today. I was going through the scene setup this morning here, and I realized that everything is jacked up. All my stuff's wrong. So hopefully things look okay. I'm not sure what happens. My software sometimes, I'm in a beta version of it, and sometimes the streaming software gets the cameras weird. Anyway. Skill says former Prince Andrew got arrested. They finally put his ass away, huh? I'm going to tell you what, before we get to the buzz, have you guys actually looked at some of the shit that's in the Epstein files? Like, have you seen the actual, like, have you gone through and seen some of the things? Oh my God. My daughter, she's a psych major, at Washington State, and they're studying some of the stuff, she studies, human development as well. So it's basically like, how your brain forms when you're a baby and stuff. And she was showing me some of the stuff that they've gone through to see like what the damage would be to kids. Oh, holy crap, man. I didn't realize, I guess, maybe I'm just kind of naive, what was going on out there. These guys need to all burn at the fucking stake. I'm telling you what, it's bad. It's the worst thing I've ever even thought about. So if you're not for the faint of heart, go look at what's actually in those damn files and you'll see why people are going crazy about it. Anyway, fuck that guy. All right, here we go. Speaking of fuck that guy, that's what the casino's doing to you all. Do you know that? The casino hates you. They want you, by the way. See what happened? You see what happened? My scenes got jacked. What is going on with the scenes here? I got to fix it as we go here, I guess. Why is it doing that? Damn. I hate this. Hold on a second, guys. I'm going to have to... my goodness gracious. How do I fix this? Yeah. Something got messed up. I wonder if this one here works better. I'll have to stand to the left side. Yeah, that's just weird. Like, yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. The frustrating. Anyway, the casino hates you too. They don't hate you. They love you. They love you. They love your money. They want you to live there. They want you to come stay for free, feed you for free. So they're gonna bleed you dry, right? They exist to bankrupt you. And shows like mine, and you'll see. We'll talk about Ken today, and Waylon, and Jeremy, and all these guys that do quality broadcasts that are here to kind of help you through it, are here to help you through this, right? Find ways to say, you know what, you're there for entertainment, not to make a living in most cases. If you're there to make a living, you're probably fighting the wrong battle, and you're fighting an enemy that you probably can't win. And we talked about that so much during the ABC series, right? The risk of ruin thing is real. I don't care how good you are. You don't have enough money to beat these guys. And that's the biggest tool in their toolbox, right? Now we have some tools, right? We've got the bridge. We've got things like our bankroll, which for some people can be a hammer. For most of us, it's probably not, right? So understand, as Dylan would say, what is your bankroll capable of? That's one of my favorite sayings from Skill and Luck. What is your bankroll capable of, right? Once in a while, your $300 will turn into a few thousand. Most of the time, it'll turn into $50, and you got to just know that, right? Know what it can do for you. Understand how you view risk, right? If you're not a high risk person, don't play a high risk strategy. If you are a high risk person, but you got no money, you're going to have a tough time marrying those two concepts, right? And today's going to be a big one on these two, identifying opportunity and having discipline. What I'm going to show you today, and again, I don't know if it's going to work. I'm going to cross my fingers here. Hopefully what I'm going to show you today works. Because, when you're dealing with computer stuff, it never always works. But looking at having the discipline to walk, what would that actually change in your life? What would it change if you could actually exercise that muscle to the degree that it should be? So tools like this, again, most of them are mental, I think help us get through things. So that's going to be the focus of today's show. I'm going to show you a new thing today called Fact or Fiction. We're going to run through it. And today might be a little bit long-winded, maybe not, we'll see. But it's a segment that I want to introduce and do like Fact or Fiction a couple times a week, maybe as a short lead into something else. But today will be the first time I'd actually kind of jump into it. I'm going to do a bunch of them this week, and we may revisit these topics as we go. But it all boils down to this, right? Keeping yourself safe, not getting your ass kicked more than you should. You're going to get it kicked by the casino. Let's not take a full-on beating. And that's what the bridge is all about to me, and what my show is. All right. Next up, we have the schedule. And again, I got to get I got to spend some time out there finding when everything is. I know that, like, for example, Brian from Wyatt Crap Shooters is live right now doing a tournament thing. I know George goes live sporadically, not always at the same time every day, but I'm going to try and get their schedules up on screen, so we know what's happening. So you can kind of plan your viewing around what others in our community are up to. So that'll be this. This is a screen that we'll start getting more active on this screen once I start doing my homework. So anyway, the buzz. If you watched, and I told you last night, by the way, what did I tell you last night? Go watch the Full of Chips podcast, right? Because what? Sideshow Gamble came back, right? The other day I got a pop-up on my phone. It was like, Sideshow Gamble, the Hoppa. And I'm like, the Hoppa? Why is YouTube? Because the YouTube algorithm's been weird. Has it been weird for you guys too? Like getting weird suggestions? And I'm like, why is YouTube suggesting Chris to me now, right? Well, I looked at the damn thing and I'm like, oh my God, Chris actually put a video out. Like a real video. And I wrote him like, Chris, man, are you back? And he's like, yeah, I'm back, dude. I'm like, holy crap. Because I haven't talked to Chris in a couple of years. We were talking quite a bit before he deployed. When he came back, we talked. I knew what his plans were, but I knew he was also struggling with what he said last night. A lot of things have gone on. And so I just kind of, did one of these and said, when you're ready to call me, you call me, Well, he came out last night, man. He's back. So it's good to have Chris back in the fold. He's looking great. He sounds great. Love that guy. One of my favorite people in the whole world is Chris. So I'm glad to see Chris back. Get some more Sideshow videos. Maybe he and I can do some collabs. Hopefully he's into something like that. So anyway, glad to see him back. That's your buzz for today. Now, I want to get into something. This is a theory that I've put out here. So today's fact or fiction is this 90-10 paradox. Now I put this quote out. I think John Patrick said it. I know Kenneth said it. I've certainly said it a bunch of times. And to me, this kind of speaks to the whole discipline argument. Okay. And I actually said this one time to one of my friends who's one of the math guys. And he said, I'm full of shit. And even if I was right, it wouldn't matter. And maybe he's right about that, because most people don't listen to the truth. Most people are kind of dumbasses. And if I'm talking to you directly, I'm sorry if I offend you. But most people, 90%, I would posit, go to the casino, and at some point during that session, they're up. Now, whether it's up $1 or 50 cents on a slot machine or $22 on a craps table or $1.25 on a blackjack table, I don't care what the number is. Everybody, quotes, 90% of you are up at some point. And I think you can raise your hand in chat right now and say, yes, when I go to the casino, most of the time I'm up at some point, right? I was joking a while back. I'm on this terrible crap streak, right? Where I have been losing every time I go play craps anymore. It just seems like I can't catch it. Like from the first shooter, my pass or don't pass gets picked off and I'm fighting from underneath the entire time. There are times though where I have fought back to be up like $10 and I'm like, oh my God, right? But I still keep playing, right? And you go away a loser. 90% of us, I believe, are up at some point, and 90% of those people leave down. Right? There's this weird thing. And I was asking Matt over at Dice Data, who does he does the 100,000 roll, 100,000 bots and all this kind of stuff, to kind of start tracking some of this. How many times does a strategy, quote unquote, work? Meaning, did you get up? And what he does typically, and I feel like there's really 3 ways to run a strategy in simulations. And I'm going to show you some sims this morning. There's 3 ways to do it. One way is like what we used to do with win craps and what the math guys will do and what the casino is actually doing, which is run it to fail, right? Run whatever, pass line with max odds, run it 1 billion times, never stop, just go forever. And at some point it will be at 0 because the house edge bleeds you out. And I can prove that. Matt can prove that. Win craps can prove it. Every single time, every single strategy will go to 0. There's no question about it. It's impossible to beat any of these casino games. But that's over 1 million billion rolls, whatever the number is. Time will get you. The casino counts on that. I've had Matt, and I've done it too. Let's put constraints on it. Let's run a strategy, and let's set an actual realistic win goal. Let's go $1,000, win 200 or 250. Let's set a realistic loss limit, 0. My loss limit should, yours should too, I think, be 0. If you bring your bankroll to the table, my $1,000 is here because I need $100 bullets to get this thing to work, or whatever my ladder needs, right? decent size win goal, right? Achievable, and use your bankroll. Put those constraints on it. How does it change the math? Or does it change the math? Do you still lose everything? Probably, right? Matt will show you that you do. Do you have more winning than losing sessions? Because that tracks a session. In a session, did I win my limit or lose my limit, right? There's also what I'm tracking now, which is that plus, was the strategy ever ahead? Is what I'm doing, do I fit this box? Did I ever get up during play? Because that's interesting to me. Some strategies are shitty and you never win, right? But most of the time you do. So I'm going to run some simulations for you this morning. We're going to look at, it's going to be a little bit boring in terms of the view. I know that there's no good way to do simulations. I'm sorry. So I'm going to share my screen here and we'll look at how that works. So let me get my my terminal up and let's see. I'm going to go to this here. All right. So you should see this. Okay. I'm going to move some stuff out of my way so I can see the whole screen here. All right. Let's make this there. You don't need to see that. Actually, no, I think I can do that. I can double click this. There we go. Okay. So this is a command line version. It's not very pretty of the strategy system. And I think if I open my Finder up, can you see this or no? Oh, I guess you guys can't see that. All right, let me just do this. Let me do a list. I'm going to list out, for example, the Baccarat strategies that I've written. So this is a way for me to take code and run strategies. If I just take a look at, like, I'll show you one of these cat strategies. Hold on. I can only do one screen at a time. So games, I'll show you how these things work. Banker flat. Banker. Oops. Flat. Okay. So what this strategy does essentially is it bets flat bet on banker every hand. Okay. It's a simple little thing. All it does is every hand, it bets banker for 1 unit. 1 unit here is $5. Bankroll is 200. The amount of money you had doesn't matter. Like the amount of the dollars in what I'm going to show you doesn't matter all that much. Okay. But we're going to try and win $50. We're going to try and win $50 from 200. Okay. We're going to lose everything if it happens. And that's the whole thing. We're going to run that now. I'm going to do run. We're going to do Baccarat. And the strategy will be, Baccarat flat banker. It's banker flat, I think. Okay, whoop. Crud. Sorry, hold on. Node run. Oh, I didn't get the game name. Baccarat. And it's, sorry, I should have this preset. Banker flat. There it is. Okay, so when I run the strategy, it gives me a lot of information. And I'm just running 10 sessions, right? This is 10 shoes. So at $5, right, $200 per session. This is interesting, right? This one here actually won $75 this time. Doesn't always happen. A lot of times these things will lose, of course, right? The average win was $7, right? This is all, nerd data. This is what I find interesting, though. Look at this. 7 out of 10 times, we made our win goal. 7 out of 10, 70% of the time, we made our win goal. This is great. Yeah? We lost our entire bankroll 3 times. When you're playing with, and Ken will tell you this too, when you're playing with small numbers, right, small win goals, you'll win a lot of times, and you'll lose the whole thing a couple times. Now, the trick is, can you win enough money in your times that you win to cover the 3 times that you lost? Okay, we never broke even here. But look at this, ever in profit, 10 out of 10 times. So this way of playing, just banker only, $5 a hand, right? 10 out of 10 times we were up at some point. 7 out of 10 times we hit our goal. 3 out of 10 times, even though we were up at some point, we lost the entire bankroll. And that goes to what I was talking about before, right? 7 out of 10 times you got your goal. 3 out of 10 times you lost the entire thing. And in those 3 times you were up because it's 10 out of 10 in profit. That's an interesting thing. I think and I can run it again and again and again, it will get similar results. Here's one where you were 5 out of 10 times you hit profit. 5 out of 10 times you lost your entire bankroll. That's a terrible one, right? We lost $25 that time. Okay. But 9 out of 10 times we were up at some point. And why this is important to me, why this matters, and I'll show you some other strategies too. Why this matters to me is I made this comment a few weeks back talking about Ken from Ken Knows Gambling. And he did this thing called the retirement plan. And it was 100 and whatever it was. I forget what the 97-0, whatever the hell the thing was, right? And I said to you, is the strategy just that good that it wins 97% of the time or whatever the hell it was? Or is Ken that good that he made it win? He left when he was up. Whenever he was in profit, somewhere near or close to that goal, or he had a shitty session and fought back and God, we're up $100. I'm out of here. He did that so many times, right? This is the key to it. This is what differentiates Waylon, me, Ken, Greg from 555 Craps, and many others. Tony Leo does this too. This is what differentiates us from you. I want you to hear that again. What differentiates people like Ken and me and Greg and Tony and others that have discipline is we leave when we're here. You who lose all the time leave here. You're either going to make your goal or you're going to lose it all. And you're not seeing that when you're up, it's kind of a miracle to be up in the casino. And you should get the hell out of there. That's what I noticed this. I knew this to be true, right? But I've been playing with my simulations here for a while now. As I'm building the app, this is going to be part of the Casino Quest Nexus app, by the way, built into the. I'm going to make a little graphics for it. But anyway, as I'm building this out and I'm trying things out, I'm like, oh my God, like 100%. You're always up. You're always up, right? So let's take a look at one of my favorites. We'll do craps. And we'll do, I'm not sure what it's called. So give me a second. I think it's called the Skill 66. I forget if I called it just that or something else, but the Skill 66. Okay, there it is. I'm going to clear the screen. I'm going to show it to you before we run it. I'm going to show you the two versions of it. So I'm going to do a cat of, let's see, of strategies, games, craps, strategies, skill. Let's look at the Skill 66, the first one that I'm going to show you. Okay. This is the way that I've been playing it more recently versus the way that Skill and Luck from Dialing from Skill and Luck plays it. Okay. Again, we're going to do, it doesn't matter the bankroll, $5 units, $500 bankroll. Okay. We're going to go wait for the point. We're going to go 66 inside, right? On any hit, we're going to go here and go 4 units inside. We're going to press them off from 3 units to 4 units. Okay. When we get a place hit, right, we're done. So all that this does is basically say, get a hit, stop playing. And that's the way that this one works. That's all that it ever does. Get a hit, and stop. Okay. The other version of it, which is the Skill 66 dash go, does this. Waits for a point, goes 66 inside, presses them all, and then it comes back down to a 2-unit bet, 44 inside, and does a half press. So one of them grabs $50 and stops. One of them grabs $50 and then goes 44 inside. Okay, now watch. Let's do the run. Let's go run. All right, let's go craps. And again, I'm sorry that it takes me a while to type all this crap in, but here we go. We're going to go skill. And I think what I want to do here real quick is do it interactively, just to make sure you can see kind of what's happening. So interactively, we wait for the point. We have a push on the point. Who cares? We get an 11, we get an 11, a 7, an 8. Okay, now we have a point. And you can see on the bottom here, I know it's kind of hard to see. I'll do the best I can to explain it to you. We have our 66 inside, okay? PSO, we lose $66. It happens. Let's get another point. Points 9. Again, 66 inside. We have an 11, so we win nothing. Another PSO. Oh my gosh, we're doing great here. Points going to be 6. Another, look at this, 3 straight PSOs. How often does that happen, right? Points 4. Another one. Oh my gosh, 4 in a row. Can you believe even computers hate me? Let's do another one. Point of 6. I want to get it to run through one time so you can see kind of what it does. 12, a 4. It's a miss. We get a win, and you can see that it pushes up to 4 units. So 20, 20, 24, 24. We get 11. We get a win on the 5, and now you'll see it stops. It observes, right? No bets. So it takes all the bets down and it watches for the next point, and then it kind of runs through. That's the skill 66 that I'm going to play for you right now. So if I do this in non-interactive mode, I just want you to see how that works. Let's run it out and see how it does. Okay, this time it won $700, which is great. 9 out of 10 in profit. 1 time total bankroll loss. 10 out of 10 times it was ever in profit. 868 rolls. The average roll per session to get the profit, 86 rolls. Isn't that crazy? We did it in 16 a couple of times, right? You can see how this thing kind of runs out over time. Let's do it again. I'll do it a few times just so you can see sort of the way that it actually works, right? Here again, more typical, 6 out of 10 times we won. 4 out of 10 times we lost everything. 8 out of 10 times you were up at some point. That's lower than we'd like, but still 80% of the time you made money, which means at some point you were up 50 or whatever dollars and you didn't leave and you lost. And because of this, because you're a 60% win rate, which is about what you expect with this strategy, you lose $1,000. Do it one more time. Here's a 7 out of 10 win rate, 8 out of 10 in profit. This one, interestingly enough, has a little tougher time getting to be in profit. Now that's the one where you take 66 to 88 and stop with $50. Let's run it again. And here's a different version of it. We're going to do the one called the skill 66 go. Okay. Oh, I got to do this here. Dash go. And this one here, again, it'll be 7 out of 10 times hits goal. Ever in profit, 10 out of 10 times. Now, the ever in profit is going to be the same for both because they both have the same starting thing, right? This one here, the ever in profit, might be that $4 that you win when it works. The other one's making $50 every single time. Let's clear it out. And again, look at this, 10 out of 10 in profit, 8 out of 10. Interesting, right? Every single time you made money, but twice you lost the whole thing. As you run almost any strategy, you'll find that this is the case. It's to me eye-opening. Let's just for fun do what else do we have here? We have we'll do one more craps run. I think I've got one here called, let's see. I've got one called, I think, actually, don't pass with, we can do Dallas Drawdown. That's cool. I've got the common sense. Oh, by the way, the common sense Molly and Dolly, these are Ken's strategies. So the common sense Molly is a pass line, and the odds are based on the number. So it's max odds on the 6 and 8, 1x odds on the 4 and 10. The common sense Dolly is basically Ken's don't pass spread. This is essentially, let's run that one because I know he's here in chat. Let's run that one. We'll do the, whoops. Let me get over here. The common sense Dolly. And this one literally is the don't pass with full odds on the 4 and 10, 2x odds on the 5 and 9, 1x odds on the 6 and 8. And that one you'll find, again, it's very, doesn't matter what strategy I run. 7 out of 10 times, usually you're in the money, right? You make your goal. 3 times that you lose the whole freaking thing, but every single time you were up at some point. And again, when I watch Ken roll these strategies out and I watch Ken fill those bags, his excess and profit bags, this is what he's doing, guys. Every time he gets up, if it's reasonable, he stops. He doesn't force himself to get to that goal. I mean, goals are great, but if you're close enough for government work, Ken stops and fills the bag. Professional gamblers who need to eat and pay bills, stop here. And don't lose. You can be a winner more often than not, 7 out of 10 times, and still be an overall loser. Look at that. You won 7 out of 10 times and lost $4,000. versus 10 out of 10 times you could have walked out with money. And there's a lesson in here. Okay. There's a lesson in here for you to see. So there's your, let me get out of here and come back to the other screens. Hold on one second. I'm going to go back to, I got to figure out how to close all the windows down. I'm going to come back to left. Is that the one that worked? Yes. Okay. So as I look at, and again, I can do this with you all day. I can run a million. Again, it doesn't matter what strategy it is. I've built the Dallas drawdown. I built the 66 in 4 different ways. I built the 3-point Molly, the 3-point Dolly, the common sense ones. I built everything, right? I built them all. Every single one has the same thing, unless it's a shitty strategy. Some of them never get past 6 out of 10 profit. Believe some of the strategies you'll see never get 60%, but they still almost always have a 90 to 100% ever in profit rate, which is fascinating to me, right? 90%, 100%, almost every single time on these strategies, you are at some point you're up in profit, enough to walk away with. Yet none of us do, right? The question on screen, are 90% of you in profit 90% of the time? I would say yes. 90% of the time I'm in profit at some point during a session. And do 90% of you still leave down? I would say the answer to that question is probably yes. And why? Because of this. That's the reason why. Because you're not following this stuff, right? You're not into the bridge. You're not using your bankroll. You're not seeing your bankroll for what it is. If $300 wins 25 or 50, it did its freaking job, right? Just because you're a high risk person and you want to, win the thing, you need to identify when you just fought your rear end off and got up a little bit and walk. Discipline gets you out of there. Your goal is a North Star. We try to get to our goal, but sometimes it just isn't happening, right? You've been there. You've played a crap shoe in Baccarat or Blackjack, and you've been down the whole time. And you finally get back to a 15% win. You're like, all right, the next shoe's the one. No, get out. Get out. The next shoe may not be the one. Get out. You fought back. You got up. Nobody will do it. Nobody will do it. And that's, I think, overall our problem. So fact or fiction, I think when I look at the numbers, it's a fact that most of the time, most strategies, you're up at some point, 80 plus 90% of the time. It's a fact that most every single strategy, when I run those simulations, is negative. If you look back at the dollars lost, dollars won, very rarely is there a profitable session, even if I limit it to 10 sessions, which is a tiny little slice of time. If I go to 1,000 sessions, it's never in profit. Never. If I change what I just did and go, instead of running it for 10 iterations, do it for 1,000, 100% of the time you're below money. You never win money when you increase the number of times you play. And I can prove it to you all day long in those simulations. You can run 10 sessions and win. 1,000 sessions, you will always lose. And that's what the math guys are telling you. You will always lose over time. However, even in 1,000 session run, you can still get a 90% win rate. We should probably try that. You want to try it real quick? Let me go back one more time and prove what I'm saying to you. Let me go back to there and here. Let's do that same strategy, but instead of 10, we'll go 1,000 sessions. Okay, it takes a little bit longer. Oh my God, we won. Look at that. Look at me winning. $9,000. Holy crap, Ken, look at you. Are you onto something? The common sense Sally won $9,000. Wow. Let's do it one more time. How we do this time here? Look at this. 795. So 80% of the time it won its goal. Okay. 94% of the time it was up. That's a pretty good little strategy, Ken. Your don't pass spread. And no wonder you were able to pay the rent with it, right? Look at that. Most of the time, right? The question is, when you're with your win goals, does the 795 wins counteract the 205 total bankroll losses? And I don't know what I have here for my bankroll loss on this one. I forget how I set it up. But this one's doing good, right? This is what's interesting. 95% of the time, almost up. It's fascinating. Just like I said, I could do this all day long. To me, this is like where the gold is. And when I get this coding done and you can run it yourselves in the browser, you'll see what I'm seeing here. Keep on monkeying with it. So, all right. I think that's everything. Can I go to questions and answers real quick? I'm going to see what y'all are saying in chat. Let me run. I gotta do it by hand. So hold on a second. I gotta find my thing here. Let's go there. Yeah, because of the camera jacked up, I gotta check questions. Let me run through the chat real quick and to see. Ken's here, of course. We talked to Skill earlier. Oh, crap. Yeah, double vision. That was the camera jack. I'm not sure what's going on with this. Again, it's my fault. I'm using beta software, so I'm trying to do the thing where you stream to both directions at the same time, and so it gets confused. It is what it is, right? All right. Skill says, if you love playing Rocky and don't mind fighting for survival, then live at the casino. It is good to have Sideshow back. It's so cool. I'm glad you guys were able to coax him out of the woodwork last night, Craig. I had really a lot of fun watching that podcast live with y'all last night. He's a great dude. Let's see. Skill says, about 2 weeks ago, I mentioned Dice Data, Dicer.io, and Nexus could run a strategy together. This is what we're going to do. So what I just showed you, and I can show you another way of doing it. Let me, I guess I really kind of can't. Can I show you? Hold on, Skill. Let me try. Let me see if I can't make it. It takes a minute to do this stuff here. So give me a second. I got to go to here. Let me open up my browser view. I'm going to open up this. And I'm going to show you where we're headed, the three of us. So give me a second to open up my AI component here. And let's see. I'm going to go here. We're going to go here. Okay. Let's do this. I'm going to change this to show you a different app. We're going to go to Claude. There. All right. You can probably see this. Okay. This is Claude, the AI chatbot. Okay. This is like ChatGPT, but for coders. I've taught Claude how to build strategies. And actually I've taught ChatGPT and all the other ones also how to build strategies. So, oh, this one here didn't change yet. Let me change that one too. So that's this guy can see it. Claude. Okay. So because I've taught it how to build a strategy, we can build anything you want to. So for example, I could say, let's build a new crap strategy. And again, I'm sorry that this is going to take a minute, but you should see this strategy we'll call this one duck and cover. And again, I haven't tried this yet, so we'll see how this works. So we're going to start. We're going to say wait for the point. Actually, I'm going to start. I'm going to give it this. Bankroll is $1,000. The unit size is 25. And actually, yeah, unit size. Let's make the unit size. I'm going to make it 5. Unit size is 5, and you'll see why in a minute. Unit size $5. I'll say the win goal is going to be 200. We'll say yeah, $200. Oh. And the loss limit is 100%. Now, how we play this is 1, wait for the point. 2, place 5 units on the 5, 6, 8, and 9. Okay, so that's going to be $25 on each one. Okay, now when a number hits, when a place bet hits, reduce it to 2 units. After 3 total hits, remove all bets. Wait for the next shooter. If we lose, restart the sequence. That's how you make a strategy, right? And I've taught AI how to understand these instructions. You can make any strategy you want to. Anything you can think of, you can do it this way. Describe your steps. It'll think for a minute, and it will come back, think about it, and I can actually have it evaluate the strategy too. I have it do a little run for it, but give it a second to kind of think through the logic here, and it's going to produce that code that we talked about. So to Skill's point, here's Skill's comment again. Whoa, why did it go way up there? This is going to think about how to make code that all 3 of us can read. That Dice Data, that Dicer.io, and that Nexus will understand what's going to happen here in a second. So it's going to produce something for us And it will actually give us that descriptive, like it's called JSON, but it's like a set of instructions that all three of us can plug into our software. And all of them can run the same strategy the same way with the same rules. Because Dicer.io has the nice graphs and the interactive piece to it. Matt from Dice Data does these big, long runs with it. I'm doing quick things so we can try it, okay? All right, so look at this. It actually gave me a little, reducing it isn't directly possible. Okay, we can do that. Closest approximation of graduated regression. All right, so it's identifying a little bit of an issue, but look at it. It produces this code that potentially would be able to run, and I could distribute it between the three of us. Okay, a little bit of tweaks needed here and there to kind of get the bets reduced correctly, but how about that, right? It doesn't take long to make a strategy, and that's kind of what I'm going for. I'm trying to get to this point where we can have one way of doing it that everybody can use. And I know WinCraps couldn't use that because it has to turn to WinCraps code, but eventually imagine a world where you have an AI that's faster than that, more accurate than that. Here's what I want. Here comes the strategy. And you can run and test it until you get it to where you think it's perfect. Then play it out. That's the idea, right? That's the kind of stuff that I'm working on. So hopefully that's answers your question skill a little bit and gives you kind of a lens on what I'm trying to do. So, all right. 555, the secret sauce, yes, sir, is get out of Dodge. That is the secret sauce. There's no other secret sauce than if you're up, bye-bye, right? G-Dub, my good friend, get out. Small wins do add up. Small wins do add up. And who knew? Who knew? You knew, Greg. Ken knows this. Tony Leo knows this. The guys who play on the regular know this, right? People who watch YouTube and go, oh, that looks amazing. I'm going to go out there and win $1 billion. They don't know this, right? Ken's starting a series, I think, today or tomorrow where he's going to go through and play every strategy until he goes bankrupt. So you can see when you're up and you stop, and then when you keep on going and what happens to you. He's going to show you what I just showed you in code. He's going to show it to you for real, which is amazing. So, all right, choose strategy to get you out ASAP and limits action by design if there is one. There are them, okay? Ken, bump on a pickle, all right? And I just mentioned it. Your new series will explain and prove this very thing. This is the point. At some point you're up. Ken will tell you, this is the time to stuff your envelopes, but I'm going to keep on playing. And he's going to keep on playing. You're going to see. Some days he'll win a whole bunch of money. Most of the days he's going to take it to zero. And that's the problem with gambling. It's not just that the casinos have you by the short hairs. It's you. You are the problem. If you're losing money all the time, you are the problem. You're either super unlucky, me, or you are your own problem, and that's a shame. All right, let's get out of here, guys. I'll leave you with the quote from my good friend Lou, part of the AC group. We start with the bridge. We close with focus. Remember, everybody, follow your plan, observe the conditions, control your emotions, understand the games and the odds to the games, and stay disciplined above all. Okay, stay in focus. And I'll leave you with my final inspirational quote of the day. And I think what I'm finding when I build these strategies, hundreds of them, is this: an idiot admires complexity, a genius admires simplicity. The bump on the pickle works the best. When I run this kind of stuff through, the most consistently things I see that are winning at the 80% or 75% and above rate, that are always 90% or 100% in profit at some point, are the simplest ones. The ones where it's a bunch of stuff happening, too complex, right? Admire simplicity. Find the simplest way to get it done and work your discipline and your identification muscles. Okay? Keep your emotions in check. Guys, I love you all. God bless everybody. I'll see you tomorrow for our next fact or fiction tomorrow on Wednesday. Y'all have a great day. See you then. Bye.